And we begin with breaking news. Phoenix police investigating a double shooting near Bell Road and 16th Street, right in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Live pictures now from the scene. You can see still a large police presence there, and a big area in front of several of these homes is taped off, keeping people out. One man was killed, another in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. This is video now from Sky 12. Officers detained another man who was found nearby. Detectives on scene investigating. So again, this is a residential neighborhood near Bell and 16th Street. Stay with 12 News for updates the rest of the night and tomorrow morning. It was a case of mistaken identity that ended a man's life. And now the city of Phoenix is paying for it. Thank you for joining us for 12 News at 10. I'm Troy Hayden. Today, the city council approved a settlement for the death of 30-year-old Henry Rivera. He was shot and killed by Phoenix police officers back in 2019. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly joins us live outside PD headquarters. All right, give us the background, Chase. What happened here?
Yeah, Troy, Phoenix police thought Rivera was the suspect at the center of a crime spree from back in 2019. Now, all these years later, the city will pay Rivera's family $1.2 million.
This was a huge tragedy that could have been avoided.
Phoenix City Councilwoman Ana Hernandez upset with how police mistook 30-year-old Henry Rivera for 24-year-old Edison Noyola. In 2019, Noyola was wanted for shooting 3 people and kidnapping his girlfriend. A mistake that cost Rivera his life and a wrongful death lawsuit against the city.
Just a family man. I know that everything he did was for us. Everything he did was for the kids.
Rivera's fiancée, Natalie Mejia, speaking with us shortly after his death. Mejia says she, Rivera, and their 2 young kids were moving to Colorado to start a new life when they decided to stay at this motel near 19th Avenue in Van Buren. It was here where Phoenix police got word Noyola and his kidnapped girlfriend were staying. The lawsuit wrote police surrounded the motel and got Mejia to come out with her kids, believing she was the wife. But it said officers never asked Mejia to identify herself. Rivera ran from the motel. His fiancée says it's because he had warrants out for his arrest for minor crimes. Police said Rivera hopped over fences and stole a car. It eventually ended with him getting out of that car to run again, but the lawsuit says Rivera only made it a few steps before Phoenix police shot him in the back. It also says police never asked Rivera to identify himself during this whole encounter. Attorneys for Rivera's family who filed this lawsuit said if police took the time to ask Rivera or his fiancée to identify themselves, police would know they weren't the people they were after, and Rivera would still be alive.
We know that officers not taking adequate time to work. The process was directly addressed by the chief recently.
Hernandez asking new Phoenix Police Chief Matt Giordano what he's doing to make sure something like this doesn't happen again.
Some expectations are slowing down, taking time, communicating at the scene amongst officers on scene, making sure we all know what we're doing.
Giordano says he's implemented communication training that should be completed by the end of the year, adding this is an area officers will continue to work on.
We're making a concentrated effort in doing so.
Now, there's no court record of charges that were filed against those police officers who fired their weapons. As for Noyola, the suspect that police were after that day, he was actually arrested the day after Rivera was shot. He's now serving time in prison for those crimes he committed in 2019. We're live in downtown Phoenix. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
But Chase, we still don't know what the exact circumstances were that led to the actual shooting. The lawsuit, I know, says that the man was shot in the back. Obviously, that's not typical police procedure, but none of these officers were ever fired or reprimanded, as we know of in this case, right?
Right at this time, we believe that they were not reprimanded in any way. And like I said, we were going through the court records to see if there was any indictment or charges filed against them. And we weren't able to find anything like that in our court record search. So, yes, it appears that they weren't reprimanded or anything for that situation that happened that day.
All right. Chase, thank you for the report tonight. Police are investigating after a shot fired by officers at a gun range. Listen to this. Ends up hitting a playground at a park nearby. Now, this happened south of the valley in Marana, which is just north of Tucson. The bullet ended up hitting monkey bars at this park. The Sorita Police Department was doing rifle training at that range, so the department has now launched an internal investigation as to what happened, and the Marana police are asking the Attorney General to investigate the safety of that gun range itself, how a bullet got out of the range and made it to a park. 2 people are killed in a crash at 35th Avenue in Union Hills today. 2 cars were involved. 2 people were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Unfortunately, 2 other people died at the scene, and you can see it was a very violent collision here. Detectives still investigating what led up to the crash. 12 News will have updates for you when we get them. There are renewed concerns tonight about an addiction recovery center in the middle of a Mesa neighborhood and just yards away from an elementary school. 12 News journalist Sean Rice is following up tonight on what's going on here. Sean, so what is it?
Well, Troy, I think it's one of those I told you so moments for many residents in the Hermosa Vista neighborhood. This is in North Mesa. They've been warning since April that an addiction and mental health recovery center would be detrimental for their neighborhood. But against their objection, the owners of Legacy Recovery Center continue to fight hard to keep this center right where it is, and that has now included taking the city of Mesa to court. On Friday, October 3rd, the sight of multiple Mesa police officers with their guns drawn and a Mesa police helicopter overhead came as a worrisome sight for longtime homeowners in the Hermosa Vista area.
What it amounted to was probably 30 police officers with rifles trained at the front door, a helicopter overhead, police officers in the schoolyard to cover the back fence, and police officers on loud mics saying, "Come out with your hands up," for several minutes.
Mesa police say they responded to a suicidal person. Video shows their focus was on the newly installed Legacy Recovery Center. They say nobody was arrested, but a woman was taken to the hospital for care.
This is just very close to kids. Our most vulnerable citizens are 8 inches away.
Christina Frost, Michael Steffen, and Rochelle DeRiso have expressed concerns for months over the facility's close proximity to Hermosa Vista Elementary School. Legacy Recovery has been legally allowed to operate in this residential neighborhood since March. That's when the city of Mesa approved their request to operate as a family community residence. Court records say they purchased this upscale home for $1.7 million. They also have invested $500,000 additional dollars into getting this facility up and running. In mid-April, after residents' complaints and further uproar, the city's zoning administrator voided their approval, calling them a transitional community residence, which has requirements on how many people can live there at a time.
They cannot have more than 4 without a special use permit. And they have avoided applying for a special use permit and have at every turn not done it. So that's the problem, is that we had 2 separate police officers say that there were 8 or 9 residents inside the home just as a couple weeks ago.
In response, Legacy Recovery has sued the city of Mesa. They're asking a judge to reverse the zoning administrator's decision. That's an issue now being argued in the Maricopa County courts.
Every neighbor around here has family members that have been through recovery. To say that we don't get it is just flat not true.
These neighbors are empathetic to what Legacy Recovery is trying to do, help people struggling to get back on their feet. But they argue where that recovery takes place matters.
To have SWAT team out here with rifles standing in the schoolyard of your children is not an enjoyable experience. To be told to stay in your home, to have a constant train of fire trucks and ambulances in front of the house, this is not what this neighborhood was built.
And the owner of Legacy Recovery Center has denied our request for an interview. In the past, when I've spoken with him, he has defended the placement of this facility, citing a need for mental health treatment in that area. The city of Mesa declined to comment on the lawsuit. They do say if anyone who believes this center is operating in the wrong way, they should report it immediately to code compliance, or if they believe crimes are being committed there, they should contact Mesa Police. Troy.
So they'd have to prove that there are more than 4 people living there at a time to get the permit pulled. Is that what it is?
That's correct, but they can't just enter on their own. They need cause to do so, and they need complaints to do so. That's why if people believe they are not operating in compliance with a family residence, like they're stating they are, with the amount of people that can live there, people need to report it to the city of Mesa.
All right, Sean Rice reporting for us. Thank you, Sean. The city of Tempe, still a mess, parts of it, declaring a state of emergency, in fact, cleaning up from Monday's big storm and microburst. Now, this declaration allows the city to seek help from state and federal officials to help with that cleanup. More than 500 homes and 70 businesses damaged in the storm. The city says the scope of the damage is more than it can handle on its own. The Valley's Safety Net Hospital needs a larger safety net, and voters are being asked to pay for it. It's Prop 409. You may have seen the signs. It asks Maricopa County voters to approve $900 million to expand Valley-Wise Health, which is a mental health and behavioral health hospital system. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick explains what a yes vote will do and what it will cost.
The almost 60-year-old hospital, known simply as County, is being laid to rest. The world's largest demolition excavator is carefully taking it apart, room by room.
We will serve anybody that comes into our emergency departments and into our facilities that is seeking medical care.
Dr. Michael White, a top executive at what is now Valley-Wise Health, says the county's so-called safety net hospital needs a larger safety net.
We've seen the number of patients that are needing to be treated and need access to medical care continue to grow. We want to make sure that we have the facilities to meet that demand.
In 2014, county voters signed off on borrowing $930 million to replace the old county hospital.
We were able to build the new medical center, which is serving us today.
Now voters are being asked to approve another $900 million in borrowing to expand Valley-Wise's services.
Prop 409 allows us to expand the services where Valley-Wise Health has a significant presence today in the community.
Valley-Wise is the state's leading provider of inpatient beds for behavioral health and the only provider of court-ordered evaluations. Prop 409 would double the number of behavioral health beds, expand pediatric and primary care, and replace some community health centers. So, how much would it cost county property owners to pay off the $900 million in new debt plus interest? Keep in mind that taxpayers are still paying off debt for the new medical center they approved in 2014.
Thanks to your calculator on your website, very handy, thank you for that. Right now I'm paying $22.31 a year. It appears it would add $24.89.
Correct.
So that would basically be a doubling.
Correct.
So that was Bram Resnick. Organizers say Prop 409 would increase the average property tax bill by $29 per year. So that's $235 per month, but that charge will last for decades.